I just look at, and I know Steelers fans look at it this way and said, all right, who's the new guy? Who's going to be the new guy? I mean, we got the unknown and Chuck Noll in his 30s, and we got Bill Cowher in his 30s, and we got Mike Tomlin in his 30s, and who's this up-and-coming guy? Who's he going to be? And it's Mike McCarthy, even though he's a Yinzer from Pittsburgh. You know what that means. But even though he's one of them, they didn't want this. And I'm wondering if Mike McCarthy really wants it too. Yes, he wants to coach the Steelers. But the Steelers, Mike, they need to rebuild. I know Art Rooney said, no way. Why waste time rebuilding? You need to rebuild. When you're at a press conference saying, hey, why wouldn't we want Aaron Rodgers to come back? Oh, I don't know, because he's 42? Because
that's just one reason.
You got an old quarterback. You got an old defense. And if you look at the Super Bowl teams now, how did the Patriots come back? The Patriots have a young quarterback, but they spent in free agency. We know the Steelers don't do that. So it's not a quick turnaround when they go out in free agency and make all these splash signings. How did the Seahawks come back? They spent a little bit in free agency, but they drafted very well. The Steelers used to do that. The Steelers have fallen off with hitting on their draft picks. So they're kind of in no man's land. They got an old quarterback. They don't spend in free agency. They haven't drafted well. They were fortunate to win 10 games, but if I look at their roster, if we're being honest, that's a 7-10, 8-9 kind of team, not a AFC North divisional champ team, based on what they have going forward.
One message to the folks I know who have been in the anti-Tomlin camp for a long time. There's a chance that Mike Tomlin was, like those cooking shows where they turn you loose in the kitchen with a bunch of just like weird, here's what we have, turn it into something palatable, right? Like he would take a cupboard with a bag of marshmallows and some paprika, graham crackers, right? Soy sauce, and turn it into something good. And they're going to find out. They're going to find out how good Mike Tomlin was. Because, I saw Art Rooney say that they wanted Mike McCarthy because of his track record in developing quarterbacks. Oh, you mean Brett Favre when he was already fully developed? You mean Aaron Rodgers, a generational talent who required no development, and if anything, resisted being developed. Although he had the weird throwing motion up. He did let himself get coached away from that. But Dak Prescott, he didn't develop Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was developed by Jason Garrett. So you need an answer at quarterback. And on that point, Mike McCarthy was asked yesterday whether or not, if he had a personal preference in a perfect world, best case scenario, would he want Aaron Rodgers to return? Here's what Mike McCarthy had to say.
In your best case scenario, do you want Aaron Rodgers back as your quarterback next year?
That's nice the way he asked that, right? That was slick. But, definitely. I don't see why you wouldn't. When guys are up at that stage of their career, they need to step away and decompress. I think that's very important. The game is so emotional, what these men commit to and what they put into it. I think that time away is important. And I have spoken to Aaron, and so that's really where we are there. But I was able to sit back and watch the games. I watched most of the Pittsburgh games on TV, and I thought he was a great asset for the team.
Look, they had an extensive relationship in Green Bay, for better or worse. I still defer to the reporting from Tyler Dunn, a Bleacher Report, about how things went at the end. Aaron Rodgers reportedly had some strong feelings about Mike McCarthy. He ended up in Pittsburgh in the first place because of his strong feelings about Mike Tomlin. I think the Steelers need to tread lightly here. They don't want it to be perceived by Rodgers that the team doesn't want him. You need to act like you want him and let him decide that he's not going to be there. And at the same time, Mike McCarthy praised Will Howard and can't wait to get to work with Will Howard. And they think he's got high potential, even though he was a 6th-round pick like Tom Brady. So they need to have a plan for the future. And if they don't want a rebuild, and if they hope to avoid and successfully do earning one of the high picks in the draft, they're going to have to find a quarterback somewhere. And the best 2 quarterbacks they've found in the past 60 years, 1, first overall pick in the 1970 draft, Terry Bradshaw. 2, 11th overall pick in the 2004 draft, Ben Roethlisberger. Unless you're in position in the right year to make one of those picks, you better find a Will Howard and truly develop a Will Howard. That's the challenge for Mike McCarthy.
Tell me if I'm being too literal on this. You can call me out or just parsing words too much. When he said he watched the Pittsburgh games on TV, I don't love that from my head coach. I want him to say, this is what I want to hear him say. If I'm a Steelers fan, I want to hear him say, I went over all the film. I've watched the film of your games. I've watched all the Steelers games, and this is what I saw on film, not Steelers games on TV. It's just a little, am I overreacting to that? I didn't love that answer from a head coach.
Well,
new coach.
That's a good point. He was also asked about the incoming quarterbacks, and he said he hasn't looked at that yet. Well, what would you do all year? Like, ouch. You weren't watching college football? And he surely has a connection somewhere to get cut-ups and, somebody he worked with at some point. Hey, send me what you got on. I'm curious about. It's Fernando Mendoza. Not that they're going to get him, but, I'm curious about him. I'm going to have to be coming up with a game plan against him. I'm curious about this. Like, there's just a natural curiosity that's going to kick in and cause you. I wonder what's going on here. I wonder what's happening here. And look, attention to detail has been one of the things that has, game management, like all the stuff. And we were praising Mike Vrabel yesterday for some of the next level Jedi mind tricks that he had going on. Substitutions where the guys are slowly running off the field to put just a little extra pressure on Jarrett Stidham before he throws an interception down the field to Christian Gonzalez. Just all the little things that Vrabel knows how to do. And I said yesterday, Vrabel's got the demeanor of a guy who's like trying to supervise actively the unloading of a truck in a hailstorm. Like he's very involved in everything, right. And he's always dialed in. And there's never a sense of complacency. He's got a plan for everything, and he's all about implementing it. And we'll see. We'll see. They started 2-7 during McCarthy's first year in Dallas. That won't fly in Pittsburgh. They'll stop playing Renegade. Styx will call the Steelers and say, cease and desist playing our song. It wasn't written and performed to be booed. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.